Here we are in section 3.2 exercises part C with the solutions to numbers 11 through number 16. These are the word problems. So let's do this. Let's translate these into an equation and solve them. 84 is 6 more than 3 times a number. What is the number? So we've got to pick a variable in order to go backwards and find out what that number is. Let's pick n for number, or x or p, or whatever you would like. So translate this into an equation. 84 translates into 84. Is means equals. 6 more than is a plus. That's a plus 3 times a number. And we picked our number to be represented by n. So 3 times a number. Well, look at that. That's an equation. We know how to do that, guy. Let's happy smiley face and let's write it over here. 84 equals 6 plus 3n. Can we solve this? Yeah, certainly we can. We're trying to get n by itself, so we've got to subtract off the 6. And we now have 78 equals 3 times n. How do we get rid of that 3? We do it with division. 3. So those 3's go away and we have n equals 78 divided by 3, which is 26. So the number is 26. Let's check our answer. Indeed, the number is 26. The next one, number 12, two numbers. Oh, now this is a little bit different because we're looking for two numbers here. Add to 438, and the first is 74 bigger than the second. What are the two numbers? So we have to pick two variables. Let's pick x and a y. X is the first number, y is the second. So x and y. Let's see what this says. It says two numbers add to 438. That gives us an equation. X plus y equals 438. Good. This is not an equation we can solve. No happy face yet until we know more about one or the other of them. Well, this tells us right here that x is 74 bigger than the y. So that tells us what the first one is, and so we can take that and substitute it right over there. So we actually have, let's do it in a different color here so we can see that it comes over here. So 74 plus y, that's what x was. Then we finish writing out the rest of the equation, plus y equals 438. Now this is an equation that we can put a happy face by. We know how to solve this one. Let's write it clear over here so we can get it out in the open. 74 plus y, that was our x, plus that second number equals 438. That's 74 plus 2y, combining those like terms together is 438. Then we can solve this. Subtract 74 from both sides, subtract 74, and we get 2y equals 438 minus 74. Let's plug that in so we don't make a mistake. 74 equals 364. And now we divide by 2, and we get that y equals 364 divided by 2 will be 182. So that's one of the numbers, but we're not done yet. We still need to take this and go put it right back in there to find out what the other guy is. Now you could take 182. You know they add up to 438. So take 438 minus 182 and you'd get the other one. Or we know that the first is 74 bigger than 182. So 74 plus 182, and what does that equal? Plug that in our calculator. Plus, we have 182 plus 74, and that equals 256. So there's one of our numbers, and there's the other one. 256 and 182. Let's check our answer. 182 and 256. Excellent. Number 13, find the area of the shaded region. The area of the shaded region. Now the shaded region, it looks like a rectangle, but then it has a circle taken out of it. So that's what we need to do. We need to find the area of the rectangle and subtract out the area of the circle. Okay, do we know how to find the area of a rectangle? Of course we do. The formula for that was length times width. So we take the 9 inches times the 14. 9 times 14. And that gets us 126. Okay, so now how do we get the area of a circle? How do we find out how much is here? Because we've counted the whole thing, so we need to now find out what's in the circle and subtract it out. Well, that was pi r squared. I don't see a radius anywhere in the circle, but we do know that from top all the way down to the bottom was 9 inches, so halfway must be 4.5 inches. So this is pi 4.5 squared. We better put that in the calculator. Pi times 4.5 squared equals, so we would write that down as 63.62 inches squared. That's what's in the circle. So we would have to subtract that from the whole rectangle, and we end up with 126 minus 63.62, and we get 62.38. Now notice we were finding area. So if we're finding area then and given inches, then this must be in inches squared. 62.38 inches squared. Let's check that answer. 62.38 inches squared. Good. Number 14 says if a rectangle's length is 7 more than 4 times the width and the perimeter is 194 millimeters, what are the dimensions of the rectangle? Wow. We better draw this out a little bit. If the rectangle, okay, here's a rectangle, and we've got a width and a length, it says the rectangle's length is, that's an equal sign, 7 more than, that's a plus sign, 7 more than 4 times the width, the W. And the perimeter, let's write that out here, perimeter is 194. So we need to think about that. So we've got perimeter. We have a formula. We know a perimeter formula, and that is that the perimeter equals 2 length plus 2 width. So let's stick in what we know. We know that 194 goes in for P equals 2 times the length. Now the length, we were told something about the length, that it is 7 more than 4 times the width. And then let's finish out. So 2 lengths plus 2 widths. And look at what we have here. We have an equation that we know how to solve. Happy face right there. So let's write it over here and start simplifying. Let's get rid of the parentheses. So we have 194 equals 14, that's 2 times 7, plus 8W, plus 2W. Don't forget that other plus 2W over there. Combining like terms, we now have 194 equals 14 plus 10W. Subtract 14 from both sides. Subtract 14, and we get 180 equals 10W. Divide by 10, divide by 10, and W equals 18. Well, we can take this 18 and put it right there. We now know the width is 18. So 7 more than 4 18s. Let's try it. 7 plus 4 times 18 equals. So the length is 79. And let me see. The perimeter was 194 millimeters. We're not finding area, so we're not in millimeters squared. So these will just be millimeters. Let's check our answer. 18 millimeters by 79 millimeters. That's correct. Number 15, find the missing variable for a rectangle. So we're going to use a formula for a rectangle. Are we going to use the area or nope? We have the perimeter right here. So we're using the perimeter formula. Same thing we had up here. So we will have perimeter 48.3 feet equals 2L plus 2 times the width, which is 7.2. Good. Can we solve that? Oh, sure we can. That's a happy math equation right there. 48.3 equals 2L plus 14.4. As we subtract 14.4 from both sides, we get 2L equals, let's write that in really quick, that we subtracted it, minus 14.4 on both sides of the equation. And we get, on the calculator, 48.3 divided by 14.4. We get 48.3 subtract 14.4. What does that equal? 33.9. So 2L equals 33.9. How do we get L by itself? We divide by 2. Divide by 2, divide by 2. So L then equals, let's plug this one in the calculator, 33.9 divided by 2 equals 16.95. 16.95, and this will be in feet. It's just a distance, so it's just feet. Let's double check that answer. L equals 16.95 feet. Excellent. Number 16. Let's try, find the missing variable for a cone. So we're going to have to look up the formula for cone in the textbook. SA equals, I have pi RL plus pi r squared. Okay, so this is our formula, and we have R and SA. So SA goes in 628.32 equals pi times 8 times L plus pi times 8 squared. And we need to find L. So we're going to subtract this off. If you want to put this in your calculator to begin with, you certainly may. But we're going to subtract that off. So we have subtract pi 8 squared, so that's a 64. So we're going to subtract a 64 times the pi over here. And then let's write it up what we have. 628.32 minus 64 pi equals pi times 8 times L. How do we get L by itself? We divide by the pi and the 8. Divide by the pi and the 8. So L equals, okay, I've saved it till the end, but let's put that whole thing in our calculator. We have 628.32 subtract 64 times pi equals, so that number should be on the top, 427.258. Now we're going to divide by, but we have to put this in parentheses, otherwise we'll divide by pi and times by 8. We have to divide by pi times 8 in the parentheses. So this number right here, it just did the parentheses, pi times 8, and so now the calculator is taking that whole big number, 400 and something, divided by the 25 equals. Oh, look at that. That came out to be 17.0000. There we go. 17 must be our answer. 17. Surface area was in inches squared. Good. Radius in inches. So the slant height is just a measure of distance. So it is in inches. It's not an area or a volume. So the slant height must be 17 inches. Let's check our answer. 17 inches. Excellent.